The year as a whole, I think, was good. A lot of this is player development here, and I thought we did a good job with pressing them to win, and we had 41 wins and played a lot of hard hockey games, and I thought a lot of players improved. Most of them got better. So. Disappointing at the end of the season. We thought we had a team that could go further. I would have really liked to have seen them go one more round at least to get that playoff experience. But I think you saw a lot of players step up and play a higher level of hockey in the playoffs, and some players didn't.
From yourself personally, how would you assess your year?
I would assess my year pretty good. Pretty happy with how we came together as a team throughout the year. Pretty happy with the staff, how everybody worked hard together. It was a real tight group from the dressing room right up to the coaches' offices and the trainers, so couldn't be happier with everybody.
One of the things that you talked about was that getting the 2 playoff rounds to really give these guys that playoff experience. But even though you only had the one, these guys had their backs up against the wall, down 0-2, fought back, made it a 5-game series. So did you see that they were able to gain something from that experience?
For sure, I think they have, and there's going to be conversations that go on throughout the summer about it and what we could have done differently and what we did well. And playoffs are a higher brand of hockey, and it pushes everybody to the limit. And as I said, some showed up, and some probably with lack of playoff experience didn't have their greatest games. And so we'll talk about that, and hopefully everybody learns from it. But as I said, it would have been nice to go one more. But getting the 5 for sure certainly helps.
You mind singling out which one of those stepped up?
I don't want to do that, no. Like Willie Hinola for me had an excellent playoffs. He stepped up and played hockey the way he's going to have to play hockey to play in the NHL. Morgan Barron, same thing. Really stepped up and played. But there's other guys too, and as I said, some didn't, but they will.
You don't want to single them out?
No.
Okay. Some guys, help sometimes to give a guy a public kick in the butt, doesn't it? Don't you believe in that?
I don't really believe in that, no, not at all.
Okay. How about you? The Jets job, no-brainer that would interest you?
Yeah, NHL jobs always interest.
Sure.
You want to climb up the ladder, and but we'll see where that goes as far as conversations go on with management there and see where they're at.
Have you had some yet? Or?
No, I haven't had any, no.
How does that start, or do you wait?
Yeah, you wait for them to come to you, and sometimes they don't.
Exactly. Well, why not go bang on their door?
No, I really enjoyed the job here this year, and have no grievances about coming back here and doing this job.
Is there a huge difference between the job at this level and the next? And what is that difference? I know there is one, but what is it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I being in the NHL and back here, it's I think when you're speaking as a head coach in the American Hockey League, you have a lot. There are a lot of years, and everybody is paying attention to what you're saying and making sure that they're learning as much as they can, and they're easy to teach. They want to get to the next level. The next level is a little harder. They're already there, so it's not easy. It's you have to build relationships with those guys before they listen to you. It's a hard job.
And you're dealing with, like you say, you got ears here, and there you're dealing with, let's be honest, egos, right?
Yeah, some of them, yeah, for sure. And you got to know how to handle all those egos, and you have to, as I said, you have to. The big thing for me was when I was in Anaheim was just building those relationships so that they knew you cared and they knew that you were trying to help them.
It's also a huge difference between being an assistant and a head.
For sure.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, everything relies on you as the head, and it ends with you, and there's some decisions that need to be made, and usually it's the head coach that has to handle the big players.
Does being an assistant even prepare you for being the head coach?
I think it does. Yeah, I think it does for sure.
Jimmy Allegheny, he's been part of the leadership group. I know there's many people that are part of your leadership group, but Jimmy in particular, what do you make of the job he did this year in terms of his part in getting this group to rally together and work as one group?
Well, Jimmy played a huge part, and I'd like to expand that beyond Jimmy into the leadership group. If you want to
Yeah.
pick out Jimmy, that's fine. He did a great job as captain, great job as leader. He's very inclusive with the whole group, and that's where you have to be now. You have different ages, you have different cultures, a lot of different people in that dressing room with different ideas going on, and he did a good job of making that very inclusive and making sure that everybody was looked after.
You've been in pro hockey for many years now. What would you say was so unique about how this leadership group was able to sort of implement that inclusiveness in a group and in a roster that expands throughout the year at a great degree sometimes?
Yeah, well, they understood, right? They understood that how important team is, and that's what we tried to build here. We tried to build team first and everywhere, and that leadership group with Jimmy in charge of it did a great job of talking about that and making sure that every new player that came into the locker room was part of that group. Everybody felt comfortable. We're halfway through our exit interviews now, and I don't think there's a guy that didn't come in that said, hey, this group made me feel like part of the team, and that's what you need to do.
Cole Meyer was named your guys' team MVP, and I'm sure for people from the outside may not understand really why someone like Cole Meyer, if you're looking at just stats or whatnot, may not understand really the impact he has. From your lens, why was Cole so valuable for you guys this year?
I just plug him in any position. He could play a fourth line role. He can play a first line role. He was a great penalty killer. We could plug him in on the power play. Played hard every night. Consistency was probably the biggest thing that we looked at when we talked about Cole being the MVP. It could have been several other guys, but I think at the end of the day, the consistency, just every night battling away was why Cole got that.
You mentioned Willie stepping it up. Did you ever sense frustration in him for not being up with the big club more?
Yeah, I'm sure there's times where he's frustrated that he's not up, but you never really saw it. Like when he got called up, it'd be great. When he got sent back down, he came to work. Fit right back into the group. You never saw any attitude issues. Was always really ready to go right back to work.
Yeah, it's a good sign.
Yeah, it's a really good sign.
Dylan Sandberg, what kind of development did he have this season, and what's he ready for?
You know what? I think he's real close. He played some great hockey for us. He had a couple of injuries and some setbacks, but he crawled his way back to top of his game. And then I thought when he got called up, he played great. He looks like an NHL player to me.
Leon Gavanka, obviously of the young defensemen, he was one of the only ones to not really get a shot, but a big bounce back here for especially how last year was. What does he need to do going to next season to maybe put himself in that conversation to get a shot?
Well, I think Leon Gavanka should be in the conversation right now.
Why?
Well, he played well for us. He played some real good hockey. Him and Chisholm were excellent pair together, and sometimes maybe Leon got in the back of that group a little bit, and he kept battling through it. So I have a lot of time for Leon. I think he had a great season for us, and he improved. And for me, he's right there as well with the rest of the group.
Do you think Jeff Malott really added some more, kind of diversified his game as the year went on? Obviously, he was a beast in the slot and on the wall, but it seemed like towards the end of the year he was dealing more ability on the power play and in other facets as well.
Yeah, I think Jeff was, I think he improved a lot. I think he was probably one of our most improved players. Learned how to control the puck down low. Learned how to use his body to protect the puck. He's a big guy.
Yeah.
His skill level, I think he worked on his skill level a lot this year, and I think he got better at taking pucks to the net, protecting the puck, and he could probably have been one of our most improved players throughout the year.
Is Declan in that group too? That's on the verge.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Pretty good defense.
Absolutely. We had a really good defense. They moved the puck really well. They're really agile. They all had great offensive numbers, minus Jimmy. But yeah, great offensive group.
Yeah. Where is Christian Vaseline?
As far as
Not physically. his path. Where is it going, or is it where it's going to get?
Yeah, it's hard to say. Christian, I thought when he came down, his attitude was good. He worked for us.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him starting to compete. So he just needs to take some time and keep working at it. And he looks like he's going to be persistent with it. Some guys it's not quick. Some guys it takes years. And He looks like he's comfortable with staying with it and continue to work at his game.
He hasn't given it up?
No.
The dreamer?
No.
Okay.
How important was it getting those young guys in, Daniel Torgerson, Henry Nikkinen, Wyatt Von Giovanni, to get them into the lineup, get them in the mix?
I thought that was huge. I really did. I didn't really expect that they were going to get into games when they first showed up, because our team was, playing fairly well, and we were trying to get everybody ice time and get ready for the playoffs. But they practiced so well that it was interesting that they forced our hand into putting them in. Hey, see what you have here. And when they went in their very first game, they all played well. So it was like, I think it's huge for them to understand what this league is all about now. They can go home, they can prepare for it, they can train knowing that things have to happen a little bit quicker in this league than it did from where they came from. The rink's smaller, tighter, quicker decisions. And I think that was excellent for them to get the opportunity to understand what they have to work for in the summertime.
Was your group dealing with any big injuries towards the end? I know like David Gustafson obviously was in the yellow non-contact, played the playoffs, but...
Yeah. I just think we had nagging injuries, nothing that would have kept these guys away from playoffs. They needed maintenance days and things like that coming into it, but no, nothing serious.
How's David's trajectory,
He's I thought he improved. He had he had a tough time with injuries when he got the call up, and that hurt him. But when he came back down, he worked through it again. Again, a great attitude. And I think he's close. I think he's for sure right on the cusp. He's a strong kid, strong on the puck. His puck possession and puck battle wins through analytics is amazing. So he is, he's right there.
Mo, has it been hard to turn the page onto not even just next year, your off season, the development aspects of the year, but from that loss this weekend? Has it been tough?
Yeah, it's been tough. Yeah. And the reason is I think it was just because it was such a good group to coach, that you knew they were all in together, and it's hard to get that as a group. So that's why it's disappointing a little bit. But who knows if we could have got past Milwaukee, what could have happened, right? But it's disappointing, and it's not just disappointing for me. It's disappointing for the group.
Does it feel surreal though right now? Like on Sunday you're preparing to play an elimination game, and obviously you knew you could lose, but now it's Tuesday and you're packing up. Does it feel really surreal?
Yeah, I mean, we're used to it, right? It happens all the time. It's like, you go through this run of games trying to make the playoffs is a long battle, and then you get into them, and one day it can just be done. So it's the nature of the game, and that's we're used to it, and that's what happens. The next day is exit interviews, and off you go.
How do you get that closeness as a group at this level? How does it happen? Because it's got to be tough, right? There's different agendas and...
Yeah, you know what? It's
Just happen with the right guys?
Management did a great job, I think, in signing the right people and looking to sign sometimes to sign the right person before the hockey player.
Right.
And I think the core group here, they got 7 or 8 of that core group. Did a real good job. You might have had 1 or 2 personalities that didn't click right away, but they made sure they did. So for me, if like what I've learned going forward, and we've always preached team here, and my tenor is always, I've always wanted to just have a great team and get along and easy to coach. Mm-hmm. But I think what happened there with me now is, if I was to pick a team or I was to sign a team, I would look for that core group to be strong, because it can bring everybody else in. The core group is hugely important.
Yep.